Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm going to explain why Michael Jordan is the GOAT, and especially the GOAT over LeBron James. And I don't care how salty you get, Shannon Sharp, because I'm big too. We can take it to the streets. I'm just playing, but acting like you some damn high school girl fighting over your boyfriend every time somebody say LeBron ain't the GOAT. You look and sound like you gay, showing up at the games and stuff with your, like my man said, the grandmama sweater on. This topic is almost as bad as Wilt Chamberlain fanboys thinking he can bench 500 pounds with absolutely no proof, no picture, no nothing. Shit's crazy. But anyway, that's what this video is about, guys. LeBron James ain't the GOAT. He's good, though. LeBron James is good, but he ain't the GOAT. Yeah. By the way, guys, I'd like to dedicate this video to Earl Lloyd, the first black NBA player. He was drafted in 1950 in the 9th round by the Washington Capitals. He was also from the East Coast, Alexandria, Virginia, which is almost northeast Alexandria. But anyway, he experienced a lot of racism back then. You can only imagine, 1950s. Almost all great NBA players hail from the Northeast or East Coast. Now, Bill Russell was from Louisiana, which is the Southeast, but it's still the East Coast. He won 11 championships with the Boston Celtics and 2 NCAA championships with the University of San Francisco. And if you're going by championships, then Bill Russell should be the GOAT. This man won 13 championships. Ain't nobody breaking Bill Russell's record. I mean, let this sink in. He was a 12-time All-Star. He won 11 championships and only played 13 years. Bill Russell retired in 1969 before most of us was born. So most generations now don't know about him. He played in the 50s and 60s before sports television was what it is now, and definitely before the internet and the media is. But you can't take away this man's accomplishments. He played in a different era, and he was the king of his era. I think if Bill Russell played today, he could dominate the sport. Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain is from Philadelphia, and a lot of people consider him the GOAT because Wilt was very athletic. The only man to this day to ever score 100 points. This man scored 100 points by himself one game. And yeah, once again, Wilt's from Northeast, East Coast. And they say hands down that Wilt Chamberlain is probably the strongest basketball player that ever played NBA.
Physically, he was still the most imposing physical player that ever played this league, period. There's no one that's come close to him in terms of just physical prowess.
And as athletic as any man who ever walked the earth. You try guarding that on a basketball court sometime.
This was more than just some big guy who dunked the basketball and ran him down the court. This was a true athlete. And his physical prowess was unbelievable. He's going to the basket.
He thought, and rightfully so, that he was the greatest basketball player that ever lived. Physically, he was still the most imposing physical player that ever played this league, period.
But like Bill Russell, a lot of people don't know about Wilt because he started playing basketball in the 50s, and I think he retired in the early 70s. So thanks to the internet, a lot of people know about him, but never really got to see him play. And Wilt only won 2 championships. one with the 76ers, and one with the Lakers. And he gets knocked for being a selfish basketball player. Do you think Michael Jordan would have dunked on Wilt Chamberlain? Would have been interesting to see. Next, we got to talk about Lou Alcindor, better known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Is from Harlem, New York, and was Wilt Chamberlain's protege. People forget how good Kareem was. He could be the GOAT. He won 3 NCAA championships, 6 NBA championships. Is a Hall of Famer and previously held the scoring title until recently when LeBron James just broke it. And Kareem's skyhook was unblockable. He developed that for Wilt Chamberlain. Elgin Baylor, another Laker great from the East Coast. Elgin Baylor was from Washington, D.C. He played alongside Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West. Dr. J said he copied his moves from watching Elgin Baylor play. They said he had hang time and he was awesome. They say he was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. He was Dr. J before Dr. J. Elgin Baylor was awesome, but he never won a championship. I think he went to 8 NBA finals, and he played back in the time when you couldn't carry the ball. Elgin Baylor played from 1958 to 1971 as a small forward. Connie the Hawk Hawkins was a New York City playground legend, NBA player, ABA champion. He won a championship in the ABA with the Pittsburgh Pipers. Connie Hawkins is from Brooklyn, New York. The playgrounds of New York City produced some of the NBA's greatest stars like Dr. J, Bernard King. But it was Connie Hawkins who was one of the first to bring some of the flair of the playground into the mainstream of basketball. Which leads us into Dr. J. Now, Dr. J is also from New York. And I remember seeing Dr. J play when he played for the Virginia Squires in the ABA. And I'm going to tell you, Dr. J dunks were out of this world. Dr. J revolutionized the dunk. And back in the 70s, growing up, everybody wanted to be like Dr. J. Dr. J made the dunk famous and popular, and that was East Coast basketball in a nutshell, taking it to the hole. Taking it to the hole and dunking on somebody. That was straight up street ball East Coast basketball. The mentality was anybody can shoot the ball, but if you could dunk, oh, you was the man. You was the king if you could dunk, because everybody couldn't dunk back then. So if you could dunk, you was the man. I used to could dunk. Nothing like dunking. Which leads us to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's idol was David Skywalker Thompson. David Thompson is another player from the East Coast. He's from North Carolina. Bill Walton said David Thompson was a flawless basketball player. David Thompson was basketball's first high flyer. David Thompson helped North Carolina State win its first championship in 1974. The Denver Nuggets retired his jersey. David Thompson scored 70 points in one game.
David Thompson was a flawless basketball player. What was truly unique was that you had a guy who could fly, who could soar, who could do everything physically, and then really had a game as well.
He's my inspiration. I think, as I was growing up. I grew up watching NC State. I was a David Thompson fan. I enjoyed the way he played, his aggressiveness, his scoring capabilities. And at 6'4", being able to play his game above the rim was truly amazing for any kid to watch.
After turning pro, Thompson would meet Dr. J in the first ever slam dunk contest and would amaze the basketball world with an array of spinning and twisting dunks.
If David Thompson played in today's game, He'd be an all-star. He'd be all-NBA.
The team had an undefeated season, and DT was named ACC Player of the Year.
By his sophomore year, obviously he was All-American. He was the consensus Player of the Year.
Because dunking was outlawed in college basketball, a new style of play emerged, utilizing Thompson's amazing leaping ability.
He couldn't dunk in those days. Everybody thinks about Dave as this high wire act. He couldn't dunk the basketball.
The whole alley-oop term he created. He innovated the game in terms of playing above the rim.
He had perfected the alley-oop play. The way that he did it became a way that players who were older and more experienced began to do it.
It happened kind of by accident one day in practice. Everybody back in the day used to overplay, and I was going back through it. Mighty threw a pretty high pass, and it like it was going out of the gym. And I reached up and grabbed the ball and laid it into the basket. Coach Sloan said, I think I like that.
David Thompson played for the Denver Nuggets in the NBA and the ABA, and was in the first slam dunk contest, taking second place to Dr. J. And you got to remember, David Thompson was only 6'4". Dr. J was 6'7", and he was winning with that 360 slam dunk, and Dr. J had to pull out this dunk from the free throw line to win the slam dunk contest. Michael Jordan took what David Thompson and Dr. J was doing and took it even higher. This man could fly. And Michael Jordan is from the East Coast. He was born in New York, but grew up in North Carolina and won a championship with North Carolina State, like his idol David Thompson. Michael Jordan played to win. He had that killer instinct. He had the swag, the dunks, the moves. Michael Jordan filled basketball arenas. Even if your team sucked, your arena was selling out because people wanted to see Michael Jordan play. That's how good he was. Michael Jordan won the slam dunk contest 2 times. Michael Jordan played 15 years in the NBA, was a champion 6 times, 14 times All-Star, 10 times scoring champion. What more can you say about this guy? Won 3 titles, retired for 2 years, then came back and won 3 more. If Michael Jordan had retired, Bulls probably would have had 8 championships, easy. And he won all his titles with the same team. Eddie Griffin said it best: LeBron James can disappear while the game is playing. Second half, LeBron disappears. Michael Jordan would never do that. He finished games. Here's how Larry Bird, one of the NBA's greatest players, described Michael Jordan.
We ended up winning the series, but it was an incredible playoff performance. I've never seen it before, and I had never seen it after. That wasn't Michael Jordan out there. It was God disguised as Michael Jordan.
One more thing. At times, LeBron looks goofy. Michael Jordan never looked goofy. He made other people look goofy. And Michael Jordan won a gold medal in the Olympics with the original Dream Team. The main thing that makes Michael Jordan the GOAT, and it's not even about the stats, is the fact that he was so good that he made people that didn't even like basketball watch basketball. People like myself that like football, when Michael Jordan was playing, I was watching basketball. Watching Michael Jordan play basketball was like watching a great ballet dancer doing his thing, all the while with his own style and his tongue hanging out his mouth. It was one player when Michael Jordan was in college that gave Michael Jordan a run for his money. That was Len Bias. I have to mention Len Bias. Len Bias was just as good or better than Michael Jordan. He played for the Maryland Terps. He got drafted by the Boston Celtics as the 2nd overall pick, but unfortunately, he ended up dying right after he got drafted. Len Bias was from College Park, Maryland. Now, you know I got to mention Shaq and Kobe. Shaq's from New Jersey. Kobe's from Philadelphia. It's amazing how all the Laker great players come from the Northeast. Just saying. Shaq, Kobe, Wilt, Kareem, they're all from the Northeast, with the exception of Magic, who was smooth, and LeBron. Now, Magic, when he first got drafted to the NBA, he went and stayed with, guess who? Dr. J. Yeah, Dr. J invited a young Magic Johnson to live with him. Which leads us to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is from Philadelphia. Kobe Bryant is the closest player to Michael Jordan, in my opinion. Even Michael Jordan acknowledged that Kobe played for 20 years, a 5-time NBA champion, a slam dunk champion. All these guys imitated Michael Jordan. Kobe, LeBron, Allen Iverson, LeBron wearing number 23 like Michael Jordan. They say imitation is the best flattery that you can give somebody. Well, if all these players tried to imitate Michael Jordan, then who do you think the GOAT is? And let's not forget about Robert Horry. He's got 7 rings. He's one of the most clutch players to ever play in the NBA. And he's also from the East Coast, Northeast. He's from Maryland. The next player you're going to have to talk about being a GOAT is Steph Curry. Because Steph Curry has his own style of playing, and he's the king of shooting the three-point. He actually changed the game of basketball. Now everybody's trying to play like Steph Curry. I think Steph and LeBron are from Ohio. One last thing. Scottie Pippen, you are one hell of a basketball player. I've always told people, if you look the word basketball player up in the dictionary, Scottie Pippen's picture should be there. You are athletic as hell, and you and Michael Jordan had great chemistry on the basketball court. You and Michael Jordan are probably the greatest duo in basketball history. Everybody knows how good you are. You can't say Michael Jordan without thinking about you, Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen, I seen you saying that Michael Jordan was a horrible player. I don't even know how you could form those words that come out of your mouth. You're killing your own legacy. Now, before you said Michael Jordan was the best player, and he was the only player you would ever play with. But since The Last Dance came out, now you all salty and flip-flopping. But Michael Jordan never even put you down. Now you're flip-flopping. I mean, yeah, they're making a big deal out of it, kind of, because you did say some other things, but come on, man. A horrible player? I don't know what the hell you've been smoking, dude. Michael Jordan has never been a horrible player. You did also say that you had Michael Jordan in your top 5, and they're not showing that part. You did say that. You said Michael Jordan was in your top 5. I think you said you had Kareem, Michael Jordan, LeBron, the mailman, and you put yourself in there, which is cool. And then Kobe Bryant. You know, that's all right, man. So stop hating on Michael Jordan. You're killing your own legacy. I'm done.